places you don't talk about at parties. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Keep that frequency clear.
And now it's conspiracy. See, they've made that something that should not be even entertained for a minute, that powerful people might get together and have a plan. Doesn't happen. You're a kook. You're a conspiracy buff.
You're watching The Truth is Viral, the only news program on the internet trusted to deliver the truth since 2008. And now, here's your host, Mr. Bobby Powell.
Welcome back to The Truth is Viral Live on the Liberty One Network. My name is Bobby Powell, and it's September 10th, 2018. Now, I don't have a special guest for you tonight, so we're going to just take a look around the web and look at some of the stories that the mainstream media might not be wanting you to know anything about. We'll talk about 9/11 after a little bit, because tomorrow's the anniversary. And I'm going to answer one of Mr. Jacob Wool's questions, is why do people like conspiracy theories? Well, sometimes they're not a conspiracy theory. But let's get on to Benghazi hero Kris Paronto, also known as Tonto, who called out Barack Obama after Obama made a speech in which he called Benghazi a conspiracy theory. Let's look at this clip from Fox News.
Embraced wild conspiracy theories like those surrounding Benghazi.
You heard it. Benghazi, a wild conspiracy. In a blistering speech, former President Obama blasting the GOP over the Benghazi probe while he was in office, calling it a conspiracy theory. And now our next guest, a hero from that 2012 terror attack, which happened on 9/11, is firing back. Former U.S. Army Ranger Kris "Tonto" Paronto was a CIA security contractor guarding the Benghazi annex. He joins us now. Kris, thanks for being here. You hear those words. Your reaction?
Yeah, you know, your guys' assessment this morning hit it right on the head. He's a true narcissist. Just an elitist that I honestly believe he thinks that didn't happen. He did nothing wrong that night. He sent no support, that Benghazi was just made up. And you know, we lost two of our friends, and it was a fantasy. It's disgusting, and it just raises the bile inside of me. I had a hard time just watching the speech itself. I just wanted to see what he had to say. And when that came across, you know, I just wanted to reach through the screen and just grab him and choke him. And say, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me that you'd have the gall to disgrace the memory of my teammates and what we did there that night by calling it conspiracy? But that's a narcissist for you.
Yeah,
you know, what else can you do?
Obviously, you're channeling a great deal of frustration toward the former president. You lived it. I read the book and watched the movie. Not the same thing, but it was a before, during, and after scandal. It wasn't just what happened, the lack of support to you guys. It was blaming it on a video, which they've since perpetuated.
You know, and then throwing this gentleman that made the video in prison, essentially destroying his life, which he did, which Obama did. So he just continues to double down and compound it. And the thing is, though, is his base honestly believes that. I know there are people out there still today, and I can't stand social media, but I'm on Twitter, but still call Benghazi conspiracy as well. Say it didn't happen. Say we were making it up. He caters to the easily manipulated. And it's just I can't just sit by and not do anything about it, not say something strongly against it, because honestly the man is a disgrace, just a complete disgrace.
And it's not just Benghazi, but he's the revisionist history that the world was better under his administration. I mean, remember calling ISIS the JV team and their comeback. It took Donald Trump to actually decimate them.
You know, and even before, people forget, even before Benghazi happened, when the election was coming up, Al-Qaeda was on the run. He kept perpetuating that, saying that terrorism was on the run. Al-Qaeda was not on the run. Al-Qaeda actually took part in the attack on us that night. So again, trying to rewrite history, but that's the left's. That's what they do. If it doesn't fit their narrative, if the history doesn't fit what they want to, what their agenda is, they're going to try to rewrite it. And where did he come out with this talk? It was at a university with college-age kids. And I remember when I was in college, I was easily manipulated in college. He's going to portray it out there, especially in Chicago. But it's just, again, it's completely offensive, and And it's something that I wish I had that man sitting in front of me right now. I really do, without a Secret Service.
Well, we'll be careful with that because he is a former president. So
I know, but still, it doesn't get yourself away from saying comments that
I understand your sentiment.
After he was done with that interview, Tonto tweeted this out. Benghazi is a conspiracy theory, Barack Obama? How about we do this? Let's put your cowardly ass on top of a roof with 6 of your buddies, shoot RPGs and AK-47s at them while terrorists lob 81-millimeter mortars, killing 2 of your buddies, all while waiting for U.S. support that you never sent. Gives them the middle finger, #scum. Well, it wasn't long after that we saw on Tonto's Instagram the look you make when you're tired, sitting at the airport, waiting for a flight, and you see your Twitter account has been suspended for calling out a liberal hate group and their dumbass comments. Yes, boys and girls and leftists, we have the right to free speech, but only if it fits the leftist narrative, doesn't show their stupidity and ignorance, and most importantly, doesn't hurt their fragile little egos. #Twitter sucks and liberalism is a mental disorder. Well, yeah, I've been saying that for a while. So, after his 12-hour suspension is up, Kris talked about the tweet that got him the suspension. He says, after being in the Twitter penalty box for a few and having to delete the below tweet for offending the leftist hate group at It Must End for their epic fail of telling Rob O'Neill that Barack Hussein Obama killed Osama bin Laden and not him, I'm back up. So, Twitter doesn't censor. Jack? Ooh, he tagged Jack. So he got suspended for a second time. And he's not the only one facing censorship on Twitter. Obviously, we've been watching it. Alex Jones just got banned from Twitter the other day. But other accounts like Hamas, Louis Farrakhan, and a rabid anti-Semite, and Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, they've all got their Twitter accounts up. They don't have any problems there. So, yeah. They hauled them in front of Congress last week, and they lied their asses off. Said there wasn't any censorship of conservative speech. Well, here in Michigan, we got John James, candidate for Debbie Stabenow's seat. He was shadow banned. Matt Gaetz, Jim Jordan, a bunch of other Republican lawmakers in Congress were shadow banned. 600,000 people were total were shadow banned by Twitter. And interestingly, none of them were coming from the liberal side of the aisle. So, yeah, I've had a little problem with Twitter here lately. Other than being shadow banned, my content suppressed. And that's this. Whenever I open up Twitter and go there with my computer, I scroll through the day's events, seeing what is new, stuff that you might not hear in the mainstream media that I can bring to you right here on Liberty One. And I'm scrolling through and scrolling through, and I keep on seeing the same posts from the same people. So today, I thought that I would perform a little experiment. And I counted the number of Twitter posts that I could see from the time I opened up Twitter on my computer until the time I get to the bottom of the list and it says go back up to top. I didn't realize that there was a end to Twitter. Apparently there is. I'm following over 1,770 people, and they're pretty prolific tweeters. There should be retweets from other people that I haven't seen yet. But from the time I open up my browser until the time I get to the bottom today, I counted 60 tweets in total. So that's telling me that there's a whole lot more censorship going on than they're willing to admit. And they're doing it in all kinds of different ways. That's why it's important for you folks to like, comment, and share our videos, all of them, from everybody here on the Liberty One Network. And with your help, we can get around their censorship. Because, see, they can target one of us or 100 of us, but they can't target everybody. So if you're seeing this show, you make sure that you tweet it out, and we'll get that taken care of. We'll bring the information and the truth to the people that don't have it. And it's very important that we do that. And so remember to like, comment, and share all the videos that you see here on the Liberty One Network. Subscribe to The Truth Is Viral on Facebook. Subscribe to my YouTube channel while it's still up. See, what I do is I take the original live broadcast and edit it so that all of my andas are gone. And I also add extra graphics. So doing this, I'm doing the jobs of 4 people at the same time, literally. So, and I can't do everything all by myself. Some people seem to think I'm some kind of Superman, but I'm not. I really am not. I'm just a old journalist with. I'm more comfortable with a pen and a pad of paper than I am with all this technology. I'm an old fogey, folks. I just can't take it. But yeah, subscribe to the blog at bobpowell.blogspot.com, and while you're there, don't forget to hit that PayPal button, because this does cost money to buy all the equipment and the subscriptions to news organizations that I need. I don't get all my intelligence from Twitter. And I really need your help to prosecute my mission of saving lives and winning souls for Jesus Christ in these very last days. And so if you have the ability, go to bobpowell.blogspot.com, hit that PayPal button. Now, if you're on Social Security disability or something like that, I do not want your money. Okay? You're an important part of this army, but all I ask of you is to like, comment, and share the videos. Our Father in heaven will move those with the ability to donate to this cause, and we'll be fine. So we're going to talk about 9/11 when I come back, and a certain occurrence that's gone on at Sunspot Observatory out in New Mexico. The FBI has shut down the observatory and a nearby post office, and they have done some pretty sketchy things. They're not telling local law enforcement what it's all about. So we'll look at that when we come back too. And if we have the ability, near the end of the show, we'll take a couple of phone calls and see what you got to say. So I'll be back.
I'm Pete Santilli, and you're watching The Truth Is Viral.
Do not click away. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Whether we like it or not,
Radical Islamists are bringing the fight to us, right here in the United States. As Americans, we have the right and the duty to protect our friends and our family from Islamic terrorism. We don't negotiate with terrorists, we just kill them. Real Americans, the young, the old, men, women, even the Amish, stand ready to protect the American homeland from Islamic terrorism. And more, they're turning to the most terrifying force multiplier that the world has ever seen. It's called silver bullet gun oil. This is made from 13% pig fat, and it is guaranteed to send an Islamic terrorist straight to hell. In 1902, Black Jack Pershing, famous U.S. Army general, realized the effectiveness of this psychological weapon on Islamic terrorism. He rounded up 50 Islamic terrorists, and he tied 49 of them to stakes. And as they stood there awaiting their death, he brought in a few pigs and put them in slaughtered them in a pit in front of these hostages. Boy, they were terrified, and then they got shot, every single one of them. They were buried in the pit and covered with the pig's entrails. The 50th terrorist was let go so that he could go tell the rest of his buddies what he'd seen. And for the next 42 years, there was not a single incident of Islamic terrorism anywhere in the world. That is how effective this weapon is. Since 2004, silver bullet gun oil has been used by members of the United States Marine Infantry, Marine Recon, U.S. Marine Scout Snipers, Navy SEALs, regular Army, Army Rangers, Green Berets, Reserve, and National Guard units deployed or being deployed to the Middle East theater of operations. Silver bullet gun oil is used by M1 Abrams tank platoons. Apache and Cobra gunships use silver bullet in their miniguns. Many of Allah's holy warriors have been greatly disappointed upon realizing that they did not pass go and they did not collect 72 virgins. A number of air marshals use silver bullet gun oil in their in-flight weaponry. It's been distributed to members of police tactical teams throughout the United States from coast to coast, including members of my local law enforcement community. Oh yeah, buddy. I count on them to protect me from these Islamic terrorists. I can't keep my head on a swivel 24 hours a day. So, yeah, they're the first ones that I gave a bottle of silver bullet gun oil to. The psychological impact of silver bullet gun oil might very well prevent many attacks on American citizens in the U.S. Islamic terrorists don't care about dying, folks. In fact, they welcome the idea. So we have to take that incentive away from them by guaranteeing them an afterlife in hell.
Yes, folks, silver bullet gun oil is actually a very good product. I use it myself. And what amazed me is that last year, we have a hunting camp every year. And a bunch of us get together and go out there and shoot guns, blow stuff up. We have a real good time. Of course, we use tannerite. It's legal. It works. Okay. But when everybody else's gun was jamming, because it was -2 degrees below zero, my silver bullet gun oil worked fine. To order your bottle of silver bullet gun oil, send a check or money order for $24.95 to Post Office Box 91, Alpena, Michigan 49707. Or you can use a credit card at www.paypalme/thetruthisviral. Yeah, silver bullet gun oil is an effective force multiplier, folks. And even if you buy it just for a novelty, it's worth it. It's a good conversation starter. And like I said, it also works very well in your weapon. I use it myself, and it prevented my weapon from jamming when it was -2 out here in the Michigan tundra. So tonight we're going to talk about 9/11 a little bit. Now, I've never been a real 9/11 conspiracy theorist, not as much as some folks have. But as an objective journalist, I've got to call out some inconsistencies. And I'll tell you, the 9/11 story is full of inconsistencies. And because we call out inconsistencies and the lies of our government, we're called conspiracy theorists. I don't know how many people have noticed, but I use a short clip from George Carlin in the very beginning of my show in the open. And I'd like to present what he has to say in a little bit more depth about conspiracy theories.
Well, you know, if I had to say to you, what is the answer? I would say massive bloodshed. I really would. I don't really, honestly, deep down believe in political action. I think the system contracts and expands as it wants to. It accommodates these changes. I think the civil rights movement was an accommodation on the part of those who own the country. I think they see where their self-interest lies. They see a certain amount of freedom seems good, an illusion of liberty. Give these people a voting day every year so that they'll have the illusion of meaningless choice that we go like slaves and say, "Oh, I voted." The limits of debate in this country are established before the debate even begins, and everyone else is marginalized. They're made to seem either to be communists or some sort of disloyal person, a kook, there's a word, and now it's conspiracy. See, they've made that something that should not be even entertained for a minute, that powerful people might get together and have a plan. Doesn't happen. You're a kook. You're a conspiracy buff. So, the only way you cure that, death, bloodshed. I don't advocate it, but I see that it's really the only answer.
And of course,
well, I'm not so sure about that. I don't think it's the only answer there, George. We've got a lot of tools at our disposal before we can head that route. But, since 9/11, September 11th, 2001, a lot of people have forgotten about it, about what it meant to those of us that lived through it. A whole generation has grown up after the September 11th terrorist attacks. And they've been fed a government narrative that has so many holes in it, it's like Swiss cheese. So I'm going to take you back right now, a short little video that shows what happened on 9/11 as it happened. Those crashing sounds are bodies hitting the lobby in the World Trade Center. People jumping out of the fires to save themselves, or at least not burned to death.
whole same thing's going to happen to the right tower. Maybe in about half an hour, an hour.
Jetzt bricht im Übrigen der zweite Turm zusammen. In diesem Moment bricht der nördliche Turm des World Trade Centers zusammen. Wir können nur alle hoffen, dass alle Menschen aus diesem Turm evakuiert sind. Es gibt kein World Trade Center mehr. New York hat sein Wahrzeichen verloren. Die Welt hat ein Wahrzeichen verloren.
There was a lot of sketchy things that went on after 9/11 happened. And some of the inconsistencies that I was talking about before was, number one, the Pentagon is the most heavily surveilled building on the planet. Yet we were only treated to about 17 frames of video from one of their entrance cameras at a guard shack. Video from the surrounding businesses like convenience stores, gas stations, stuff like that. Well, all that video was absolutely classified. We're not allowed to see it. And then we've got the fact that there were no identifiable plane parts in any of the photographs of the damage at the Pentagon. The hole that was supposed to have been made by the plane wasn't nearly as wide as it should have been. There was no damage on either sides of the holes from these 15-ton engines that should have gone through the building. Only that one little hole that a Boeing aircraft carrier could not possibly have fit through. And then in New York, we're told that one of the terrorist passports survived that fireball. I don't believe that for a minute. What I do believe, and what I can prove, and what you can prove just by looking it up, is that President Bush was warned in his daily presidential brief, bin Laden determined to attack inside the United States with airplanes. So my contention is that the United States government knew that a plot was happening. It was going to happen, and they let it happen. Because the Project for a New American Century, they said that in order for neocons to retain control in the 21st century, there would have to be another Pearl Harbor type event. That came on September 11, 2001. You can look all this up. I'm not pulling it out of my butt. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I look at news reports, and I get it firsthand from wherever I can. But you can find all this stuff yourself. You just got to look it up. And another thing that bothers me about New York is the fact that the towers came down. They said it was from fire. First time in history that a high-rise tower had been brought down by fire. Okay, let's say that World Trade Centers 1 and 2 were brought down by a combination of collision with the aircraft and then fire. Okay, they were weakened by the collision. Let's say that. That doesn't hold true for building number 7. Building number 7 was never hit by any part of the aircraft. There's some debris, but there was just a small office fire in building number 7. And when he, excuse me, when he was interviewed shortly after the attacks, the man that held the lease on the World Trade Center, Larry Silverstein, said that the fire department had decided to pull it in reference to building number 7. And by pull it, he's using a demolition term. He said that the fire department had used demolition to bring those building 7 down. Let's watch Larry Silverstein say this.
I remember getting a call from the fire department commander telling me that they were not sure they were going to be able to contain the fire. And I said, you know, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
Okay, so there you see the man himself saying that the decision was made to pull the building, to collapse it with explosives. I don't get why people don't believe him. This is the guy that held the lease on the World Trade Center. He's not going to sit up there and lie, but he is going to file 2 insurance claims that netted him over $2.2 billion. There are a lot of inconsistencies with the 9/11 narrative, and I think probably the worst part about it is the fact that they're deliberately withholding the results of the 9/11 Commission investigation from us. There are 22 pages of the 9/11 congressional report that we're not allowed to see. They're completely redacted, and they have to do with Saudi Arabia. Now, for those that don't remember, President Bush had a long-running partnership with the elder brother of Osama bin Laden, who was a shareholder in his Arbusto oil company down in Texas. Oh yeah, they were great buddies. And on 9/12, September 12th, 2001, the only airplane in the United States that was allowed to fly other than military aircraft was a passenger jet carrying bin Laden's family from the United States back to Saudi Arabia. So yes, I do not believe the official narrative. One little bit. All right, now we need to ask Donald Trump to declassify those 22 pages. We need to know who really attacked us on that day. There are a lot of conspiracy theories, and I don't have time to go into all of them. I just thought I'd bring you a few provable facts as to why the official story is not the truth. So tomorrow, flags will be flown at half-staff for the 17th year in a row. Bells will ring at ground zero, remembering the 3,000 people that died. And for us, life will go on. But are we going to live a life where the truth isn't told? Are we going to settle for that? I don't know about you, but I won't. So let's keep this fresh in the minds of our family, our children, our friends. Let them know that whatever happened on that day, it's not like what the government's been telling us. And we deserve to know the truth. Especially since George Bush used 9/11 as an excuse to launch an invasion into Iraq. A bloody conflict that's made casualties out of almost 30,000 of my brothers and sisters. They came home without arms, without legs. With horrifying memories of the things that they had to do and see as they supposedly fought for our freedom. Go back to the very first post that I ever put up, is The Truth is Viral, on bobpowell.blogspot.com. It's called Hijacked USA. And you'll find the story of how Dick Cheney's company, Halliburton, was providing meals to our soldiers and charging the military $26 for one plate of food. Now, of course, since this was the desert and sand was always getting in your food, servicemen would take 2 paper plates, one to put on top of their food until they got it back to wherever they were going to eat. So Halliburton was making $56 or $52 for every serving of food to every soldier during that entire war. And that's just one of the examples of corruption. Dick Cheney's stock in Halliburton went up over 1,000% after that war was started. George Bush got to protect his relationships with the Saudis and get revenge on Saddam Hussein, who had tried to kill his dad just a few years earlier. So there are a lot of reasons that 9/11 happened, and none of them fit the official story. I just pray that one day, before I'm called home to see the Lord, that I'll know the truth so that I can share it to you. Okay, now this comes out of our X-Files box. The National Observatory and a United States Postal Service office in Sunspot, New Mexico were evacuated for safety reasons on Thursday. And they're being really hush-hush about this, folks. Let's see what the local ABC station, KVIA, has to say about it.
Yesterday for security reasons. ABC 7's Mauricio Casillas spent the day at the observatory searching for answers. He's live with a story only on ABC 7. Mauricio.
Estella, we know that the FBI is the agency that evacuated the facility, but no one seems to know what exactly is going on. Absolutely empty. The Sunspot Observatory, a tourist spot and research facility, taped off. When we were there, we didn't see anyone going in or out. No one. Officials with the observatory are tight-lipped.
We have decided to temporarily vacate the facility as a precautionary measure, and we're working with the proper authorities on this issue.
Even local law enforcement doesn't know what's going on. They asked us if we knew anything. Residents in nearby Cloudcroft are just as puzzled.
Yeah, new law enforcement went out there recently for some sort of incident regarding the United States government, I guess is what I heard. Like I said, what I know is just rumors that are going around town.
Nothing really happens up here very much, and since nobody knows, it could be almost anything.
13-year-old Montana Peterson says one of his friends who lives near the observatory was evacuated.
He just said there was a bunch of, he said FBI, a lot of law enforcement went up there, and everybody had to get out.
A post office near the observatory has also been closed.
Right now, what we're told is that they've temporarily evacuated the area. So we haven't been told why or when that expires.
Residents also say they saw helicopters flying over the observatory on Thursday.
As locals, I feel like we should know what's going on around us.
I reached out to the regional FBI office in Albuquerque to see if I could get some answers, but I still have not heard back. We will, of course, let you know as soon as we get answers. Estella?
Hopefully they'll respond pretty soon. Thank you very much, Mauricio.
Okay, so the FBI has come down and shut down the whole area. Sounds like something like out of Men in Black, right? There's something I wanted to share with you right here about the... oh, where is it? It's gone. Okay. But the Otero County Sheriff's Office said that they're not involved in the investigation. The sheriff said that there have been black helicopters and Humvees and all that other stuff going around all day. And this is from today. This is just a recent update from this afternoon. This National Observatory is still closed. It says the post office is also closed, and neither facility will be reopened until further notice and cannot be reopened until approved by local law enforcement officials. But then again, the local sheriff doesn't have any say in it. The feds are rolling with it. ABC 7 spoke Monday with Sherry Lifson, who's with Aurora, the company that co-manages the observatory with Northern New Mexico Southern University. Lifson told ABC 7 that there was no timetable for the observatory to be reopened. Now they're going to have a new report on that about 7 o'clock tonight on their air, and I will look out for it and show you, tell you what they say in probably on Wednesday's show. Okay, but here's the Instagram account for the Sunspot Solar Observatory. Here's their latest post. Due to site closure, the visitor center, along with Dunn Solar Telescope, is temporarily closed until further notice. Oh, I shouldn't have that title up there anymore. Just roll with this one. So, yeah, there's all kinds of hinky stuff going on in our world, folks, and you're only going to find the truth about what's going on right here on The Truth is Viral and with the other shows that you see on the Liberty One Network. So remember to like, comment, and share all of them so that we can go about winning souls, saving lives and winning souls for Jesus Christ, because that's what it's all about. We are literally in the last days. My religion editor, David Rice, today put up a post about Israel being born again in one day, as was prophesied in the Bible. And I had to note that Israel is the only nation ever in the history of man to have been dispersed from their homeland by conquest 3 times. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. My, how they have suffered for being God's chosen people. And a lot of people mistake that phrase, God's chosen people. Every Jew that I've ever talked to says that they wish they weren't God's chosen people, because all it has led them to is suffering. But it doesn't refer to Israel being chosen because they're better than anybody else. It refers to Israel being chosen because they were the tribe of people that through which God would give us Jesus Christ, who is our salvation. And because of their rebellion, the Jews have been, how shall we say, let's just say they've experienced a lot of suffering because of their rebellion to the Almighty God. And as I said earlier, the Bible said that Israel would be born again in one day. That happened in 1948. And Jesus Christ himself said that the generation that saw that happen would not pass away before he returns to the earth. Israel just celebrated its 70th birthday. So everybody that saw the rebirth of Israel is collecting Social Security now. And before they die, Christ said he would return. I don't know about you folks, but I believe him. In the last few minutes here, let's move on to a little entertainment. These people, I swear, liberals, they're nuts. They're out of their gourds. And I found a couple of examples on Twitter this afternoon. It's just absolutely going to blow your mind. Well, we've got this one. Found this on Twitter. This is one of the protesters that was removed from the Senate chambers on Friday for protesting Brett Kavanaugh's appointment to the Supreme Court. Yes, that's a woman oozing menstrual blood on her seat, her shorts, and on law enforcement. These are the people that Democratic leaders paid to protest outside or inside a Supreme Court confirmation. Why would you ever give these people power again? That's just disgusting, folks. Free bleeding is what they call it. And it's just awful. I don't know what's going through their minds. I really don't. But these are the people that want us to take them seriously. This is literally the dildo and bong brigade. And they're nuts. They're out of their gourd. Oh, and they can't spell either. Far be it for me to be a grammar Nazi, but I noticed that Sheldon Whitehouse, one of the senators that was questioning Judge Kavanaugh, put up this huge board where he was asking the judge questions. It's supposed to say a significant and disproportionate influence in placing the judge on the case. But it doesn't say that, does it? It's disproportionate influence. This is one of the most important moments of their liberal lives. You'd think that they could take the time to spell a couple of words correctly. I wonder how much taxpayer dollars went to create that sign. Probably some graphics company charged them $500 to make that. And it's just idiotic. Let's see what else we got here. Oh yeah, well, yeah, here's that one. Twitter bans Alex Jones due to abusive behavior, but this Antifa activist that instructed his followers to kill real Donald Trump still has an account and he's verified. Why is that? And Vegan Wizard says, kill Donald Trump. See, liberals can get away with just about anything that they want. And and they usually do, at least on Twitter. But here's a picture I took in the local grocery store the other night. Don't mind me, I'm just up to a bit of monkey business. They had a little monkey in the banana section at the local grocery store, and I thought I'd have a little bit of fun and take myself a little selfie. Let's see what else we got here. Oh yeah, these guys, they're all full of fun and games. Wyoming GOP office set on fire less than 2 days after opening. So, yeah, folks, we got a problem with these liberals. They're just out of their skull crazy with Trump derangement syndrome. And people are getting fed up with this whole thing about Kaepernick and his Nike endorsement. Upset a lot of people to the point where they're out there burning their Nike gear. This Colorado sports store has liquidated all Nike products in response to the Kaepernick ad. And I'm glad. I'm glad they did that. Nike needs to learn that there's a price to pay for angering half of your base. So divest yourself of Nike stock. Tell the NFL you're going to boycott them. I haven't watched a single NFL game since Colin Kaepernick started his little protest. They say that it's not about the flag. Well, if it's not about the flag, do it at another time. You're a millionaire, a multimillionaire. The man's had every opportunity that life in the United States has to offer anybody. And he used it to attack the American flag and the people that literally pay his salary. Or paid. Because he's now in the Al Bundy Hall of Fame. A failed quarterback selling shoes. Well, I suppose that's about all I got for you tonight, folks. Don't forget to subscribe to The Truth is Viral wherever you can find me on the internet. And if it's within your ability, go to bobpowell.blogspot.com and hit that PayPal button, because I really do need your help, literally, to keep the lights on. So I'd like to thank you for all your kind comments. I've been watching them in the Liberty One chat room over here, and you guys rock. You really do. I love each and every one of you. You're just awesome people. I could not ask for a better audience. So until Wednesday night at 7 p.m., my name is Bob Powell. You're watching the Liberty One Network. And as always, God bless, Semper Fi, and hoorah. Have a great night, folks.
Thank you for watching The Truth is Viral with your host, Bobby Powell. Make sure to follow The Apocalypse on Twitter at The Truth is Viral. Like The Truth is Viral on Facebook, and if you can, please remember to donate to the cause via PayPal at www.bobpowell.blogspot.com.